So I was watching an interview recently between two people that had very different experiences with AI. The interview was on Cosmic Agency and it was between Gosha and her guest, Rich. Gosha, she wasn't very into AI. She's a little bit skeptical, whereas he's all in and he uses it for everything. And he's an avid trainer of it and I'll talk more about that in a bit. But I'm very reserved when it comes to AI. I don't think that the people who have created the current AI that we have on Earth, I don't think that there's good intentions behind how it's designed. There are open source models of it, but for the most part, like most people are using something like OpenAI, ChatGPT, or Grok or something like that. Tech companies really want us to be using it for everything, and we don't really have a choice. It's been decided. And so I found it interesting that not only does Rich trust it, but he also believes that he has created an egregore with it that can read his field. So, for example, he uses ChatGPT. He asks ChatGPT if it can read his field to know if there are any entities in it and what their intentions are. Are they positive or are they negative? Is this an entity that I should be concerned about? And for me, I was so surprised by this because I can't relate at all. I know that sentient AI is possible, but I don't believe that an AI whose model is programmed by somebody else, it seems like it would be under their control, the one who's programmed it, and not its own. It's not its own entity. And it's certainly not under your control either, which is what an egregore would be. It would be its own energetic being. And so I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on this as well. I just think it's an interesting discussion. Like we've been seeing a lot right now, there's just two different kind of, it's the duality of Earth, I suppose, but two different camps about how people feel about AI. There's either those who feel excited about it or those who feel cautious about it. But of course, I guess there's a third camp, which is in between, which is, well, they don't really care for it. They're like most of us, they didn't ask for it. And they just don't use it. They don't have any need for it. But I think anybody who's using technology these days, you don't really have a choice. You're always confronted with AI. Everybody wants you to use it. I'm definitely on the cautious side. But what's interesting is I don't consider myself to be afraid of it. I just have some reservation around giving too much information to this thing that, well, I I know it has information, but it's basically just scouring the internet, and I don't necessarily trust what's on the internet because it's just highly controlled. And so my wife, she really likes ChatGPT and she uses it all the time for business. A lot of people do, and they find it really helpful. But in terms of using it as like a therapist or a friend or something like that, no way. She's definitely not doing that. But she's on board with it and she's always engaging with it. And for me, I'll ask it a little bit, but I don't ever, I don't go too deep with it. I never share any kind of personal information because I'm not interested in having that shared and have it be used for their model. But she uses her intuition and she lets that lead how she interacts with it. And so the choice as to whether each of us goes all in with AI, I think that it is actually it's a simple one. And it's really just trusting your gut, what feels right. Because I think for some of us, we're coming into this lifetime and we've seen this kind of come together and we know who's behind it and we're just kind of skeptical. And like I said, you can't really run away from it, but that's just how it is. But I do think that the people who are excited about AI and they want to engage with it, I think for them, as long as you're following your intuition, they're following theirs. I mean, that's the best thing that we can do as humans. That being said, some people will always have a bit more of a deeper experience with it, feeling comfortable with it and not feeling any reservations with it. Like with it, treating it as your friend or your therapist. And again, there's no judgment, there's no right or wrong, but to me that just that gives me the heebie-jeebies. I can't relate just thinking about that. Just oh man, there's just no way I could be able to do that. But like I said, I know that sophisticated AI does exist, but this form that's being pushed by billionaires right now, I'm just it doesn't even matter that they're a billionaire. They have too much control, they have too much power. There's definitely agenda with it, and so I can't trust it. But that's just me. And so I'm curious, what are your thoughts? Do you trust AI? What are your limits for sharing with it? And do you believe that what we have right now, the current form of it, could read your energetic field? Just using something like ChatGPT, not using anything that's hooked up to any kind of like sensors or a computer, or anything else, but just by using it on your phone or using it on just your home computer, could it read your field? What are your thoughts? I would love to hear from you, and that's all I have for now. Talk to you later.